Nepal is among the most vulnerable countries to climate change because of its fragile ecosystem, huge biodiversity, diverse topography, and extreme poverty. Regardless of its negligible contribution to global climate change, Nepal has to bear the brunt of the climate change hazards. The adverse impact of climate change has been already witnessed by many communities across the country. Erratic changes in temperature and rainfall are already leading to crop failure, loss of biodiversity, outbursts of diseases, a weakening of infrastructure, and growing threats of glacial lake outburst. Nepal, as a party to UNFCCC and the Kyoto Protocol, developed and endorsed the NAPA in September 2010, having 6 priority themes and 9 combined project profiles. Even though the preparatory activities happened in Kathmandu and in international arena, it has been realized that more time will be needed for vulnerable communities to get real adaptation support before their coping capabilities collapse. In this context, the DFID-funded Livelihoods and Forestry Program, LFP, a bilateral aid program, proactively started supporting vulnerable communities through participatory community-based adaptation planning, CAP, in order to identify the immediate and urgent adaptation needs and priorities. This involved working with already established multi-stakeholder bodies and groups. Community forest users groups and their village-level coordination committees have been proved successful in identifying climate-vulnerable hotspots and vulnerable communities. This has helped to focus and channel the required support. As a process, the climate change and adaptation awareness of the local communities, service providers, and local decision makers has been built through series of training workshops, media campaigns, and dramas. This has been done through developing community-level resource people able to support this work. Such resource people have effectively facilitated local communities to prepare their adaptation plan by delineating climate-vulnerable areas, identifying vulnerable households, and prioritizing their adaptation needs.
आगामी योजना यस्तो बनाउँछौं कि जसले वातावरणले पारेका असरसँग सम्पूर्ण यस वन क्षेत्रमा उपभोग भएका उपभोक्ताहरूलाई राहत हुने खालका योजना निर्माण गर्छौं, जुन योजनाले लक्षित वर्गलाई प्रत्यक्ष रूपमा फाइदा मिल्नेछ।
Community forestry groups and their coordination committees work with local line agencies and service providers to integrate these plans into the regular development plans for its effective implementation. These are the communities of Salleri Community Forests Users Group of Baglung District, situated in western Nepal. Now these communities are preparing adaptation plans. In the presence of local resource persons, they are discussing the status of the changed climate over the past 3 decades and the impacts they have seen in this time period. In the area where LFP is working, a total of 2,500 community-based adaptation plans have been prepared involving 223,963 households in the past year. LFP has further provided support to implement the plans in some 15 districts of the country. The speedy preparation of community adaptation plan and its implementation support is mainly due to already existing organized community forestry users groups and their VDC level coordination committees. Participatory approaches have been followed, giving real value to community ownership and mobilization of local resource persons.
गोष्ठीबाट चाहिँ हामीले एउटा अनुकूलन योजना चाहिँ पारित गरेका छौँ। त्यो अनुसार हामीले एउटा चाहिँ भुल्के निमाविको चाहिँ घोला भन्ने जुन ठाउँ हो यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले यसैलाई तटबन्धन गरायौँ र चाहिँ 2 जना चाहिँ घरबार विहीन भएका थिए। एउटा ठगुनी चौधरी मकरहर 9 बस्ने र एउटा चाहिँ भीमबहादुर थापा भन्ने चाहिँ मकरहर 8 मा बस्नुहुन्थ्यो। उहाँ चाहिँ खोलाको डिलमा चाहिँ एउटा खरको बुकुरो थियो, उहाँको चाहिँ घर लाने अवस्थामा थियो। उसलाई पनि हामीले चाहिँ 5,000 रुपैयाँ सहयोग गऱ्यौँ र यता चाहिँ ठगुनी थारूलाई पनि 5,000 सहयोग गरेर उनलाई बासको व्यवस्था गरिदिएका छौँ।
In Nepal, community forests have been a means for both adaptation and mitigation. A study based on LFP areas has shown an increase of carbon dioxide absorbed by some 25% over a period of 25 years. The difference of vegetation status seen in Tulo Bun community forests within a period of 14 years indicates the carbon capture side by side, providing the livelihood needs of local communities. Very recently, LFP started piloting the certification of such carbon as payment for environmental services (PES) for trading in volunteer market. Similarly, LFP has provided support to the policy process based on its practical experience on the ground. In particular, its learning from CAP and payment for environmental services (PES) have contributed in framing policies on local adaptation plan of action (LAPA) and also the RED project under the Ministry of Forests and Soil Conservation.
I appreciate these initiatives. Being at the government, what I understood is let's work through collaborative, efforts and try to internalize and maximize the benefits that what we have done. I do value on these initiatives, and I do recognize that these initiatives will help us to bring the climate vulnerable communities in the mainstream of climate adaptation.
Deriving from the success of participatory approaches in forest conservation, the community forests in Nepal, we believe the current CAP process can prove to be successful and effective in future, and as such is an excellent global example.